Sage Wonder coming at you from my van down by the river. So, big false alarm in Hawaii. Okay, so that was kind of trippy. So, that would freak me out. Yeah, text message telling you that there are incoming ballistic missiles headed your way. Take cover. Where you hide from something like that? Well, I do have some planning in place, and I do have a response to such a event if it were to occur here on the in the Pacific Northwest on the West Coast. The folks in Hawaii, I guess it separated the men from the boys, and the preppers from the average Joe. I bet a lot of people who didn't think about such things before are thinking about it now. That's some of the benefits of such a false alarm, I suppose. It will wake you up. Yeah, it woke me up a little bit. I need to rotate my iodine pills, know what I'm saying? But, you know, the big question is, how did it happen? Excuse me if I don't believe the government official story. Surprise there, huh? We accidentally hit the button. Somebody hit they set their coffee cup down on the button. They leaned on the console and the button, it was a button thing. Not very believable, guys. I'm sorry. Especially with your track record. Yeah, like you're telling us the truth. Not so sure about that. Sorry, my mic stand tripod is being cantankerous today. But at any rate, so there's a lot of theories bandying about as to what actually went down. There's this big conspiracy that's kind of Q-related that suggests maybe that this is some kind of attack on Donald Trump. I don't really know how this qualifies as an attack on Donald Trump or how it would benefit someone who was trying to attack Donald Trump. Well, no, it looks more to me like they're trying to cover up what really happened, which is probably a Chinese hack. We were probably hacked. It could be our own people that did it, just, the proverbial hacker in the basement, or it could be the Chinese hackers. It could be it seems like it would have to be a hacker. Because from everything and this is why I don't believe the government story, is that it's not just a button, that it's not just one person that triggers this kind of notification of attack. That rather there's multiple levels of redundancy, and that responsibility is spread out against more than one person, and that there are levels of protection to prevent this sort of thing from actually occurring, and that there's no way that this could have happened because somebody, pushed the wrong button, leaned on the wrong button. And so therefore, what could have caused it? So I'm putting forth my theory that this was a hack, probably by the Chinese or the North Koreans, based on this one fact. Who would benefit from such a thing? Who would actually have something to gain from this experiment of having an accidental notification of a nuclear attack? Well, it would do a couple things. It would, first of all, let you know the level of preparedness of the common person. Did anybody do anything to prepare? I mean, somebody stuck their kid in a storm drain. Well, that's pretty good plan B or plan C, but what'd your plan A look like? Because it must have went all to pieces on you. But, and I'll admit to being ready if something like this happens in the Pacific Northwest. I've got a plan A, which is better than stuffing my kids down a storm drain. But, so you'd get that if you were our enemies, but you would also get, you would get desensitizing of the public. And I think that's a big deal. If you could pull one of these hacks off every month or two and make it so you don't trust the system anymore. Missiles are coming. Oh, yeah, sure. I'm going back to my coffee because I don't believe that, for a minute. That's another false alarm. So if they did this enough, they could get us to where we wouldn't respond. I mean, think about car alarms. If you're old enough to remember when those first started to show up on the scene, when a car alarm went off, everybody came out. Oh, someone's stealing a car, breaking into a car. Well, no, not really. Some kid walked by and hit it with his elbow to set it off on purpose. Or somebody pushed the wrong button on their key fob, or they sat on the panic button, and that's why the alarm's going off. No one pays attention to car alarms anymore. And, this could be the same thing that they're trying to attempt by hacking into our emergency broadcast system. It may have something to do with all the conspiracy in the storm, and I'm sure you want to tell me all about it. But I tend to look at things more rationally and specifically who would gain from this. I try to think like a cop would. Give me the motive. Who has motive to frighten the people of Hawaii this way, and what would someone gain? And I always come up with the same answer. It's North Korea and China who would gain the most from this kind of thing, and maybe expect more of them. But that's just my theory. Everybody's got their own theory. But I would bet that this was a hack, because there are the multiple levels of redundancy. It doesn't fall on one person. You'd have to get into the system and flip several switches. And I don't think one guy leaning on it, or setting his coffee cup on the button, is going to be the thing that does it. And therefore, you got to look at who might have done this on purpose. And maybe it was somehow something engineered towards. I just can't find a motive of why this would benefit somebody who hates Trump. Other than to make him. This doesn't make him look stupid. This makes somebody in Hawaii who pushed the button look stupid. So. I don't believe that story. I think they're totally covering up what really happened, because they're embarrassed that they got hacked by the Chinese, and they don't want the Chinese to know their hack was successful, but obviously it was, or people wouldn't be stuffing their kids in the storm drains. So I think it was a hack. I think it was a military move, and I think it was for a purpose, and they gained something from it, and if that's the case, they'll do it again. But I still am going to stock up on my iodine just in case. God save our republic.